Well, the question is whether it is right to censor, ban or restrain the telecast of this documentary in any way. What has really shamed India? Has it been this film or the fact that this kind of violence is perpetrated day after day against women in this country? First, let's go across to our panel tonight. Dushyant Dave joining us this evening from Ahmedabad. Dr. Sunita Krishnan, an anti-trafficking activist who, of course, has made headlines with her Shame the Rapist campaign, something that the Supreme Court itself has taken note of very recently. Mr. Neeraj Kumar, the former Police Commissioner of Delhi, is with us. Shobha Dey joins us from Mumbai. Also, Shaina NC joining us from Mumbai. Mr. Dave, to you first. You heard, the arguments that were made in Parliament today. Do you believe, no matter how much we may all have different opinions on this film, whether it was right, wrong, tastefully done, not tastefully done, but do you believe that censoring it, not showing it, asking other countries not to show it, is that really the solution here?
Well, I'm not sure whether we can ask other countries not to show, but I am of the considered view that it should not be shown in India at all, because I don't think that this kind of platform which is given to an accused rapist who is convicted already is really a good thing for the country, for the judicial system, and even for the minds of those, because we are actually in the process of inciting further violence in future if we are going to give this kind of a platform to the accused. So I am very clearly of the view that this documentary film firstly should not have been permitted to be shot. In any case, it should not be allowed to be shown in India.
All right, but you genuinely believe that censorship is the answer? I do know you, Mr. Dave, you've often stood up for freedom of speech. You don't believe it's for people to decide whether or not they should see this documentary and then make up their minds?
No, there is a very serious issue here. First and foremost, I don't think it is at all correct for anybody to take an interview of a convicted accused in this manner. Secondly, you have to also keep in mind that there is something called decency, morality and incitement of violence, all of which are reasonable restrictions even under Article 19(2). So I don't think that we really are talking about some, curtailing of freedom of speech or expression here. What we are trying to do here is something different. I think government is justified in, trying to put a prohibition on it, because I believe that you cannot allow an accused to justify his acts on a national television, which will be aired by virtually every channel, and it will be in every newspaper, because then every person who is involved in a crime will have necessarily some justification, and that will be really an extremely serious
for those who've seen the film, Mr. Dave, I'll take this question to Shobha Dey. Shobha Dey, the filmmaker, those who've seen the film, when you look at it, there is no justification. There is no glorification of this man. In fact, people who've seen the film walk away disgusted with the kind of mindset that he displays over here. Shobha Dey, do you believe then that censoring was the right thing to do?
No, absolutely not, Nidhi, and I've said it in the blog that I wrote for NDTV today, that I believe it should be made compulsory viewing. We should show it across schools, colleges and government offices, and make the police see it. This is the reality of India. What are we ashamed of? This is the horrific truth about our society. What this man is saying, and saying so brazenly and minus any kind of remorse, is perhaps echoed by thousands and thousands of men and perhaps a few women too across the country. So let's not divert the issue with legalities and whether a rapist has the right to express himself, whether the platform given to him by a crew, a foreign crew, was right, wrong, debatable, why they got access, how they got access. These are technicalities. The main issue is that there is a sickness in our society. This man is symbolic of that sickness. Any right-thinking Indian will see it for the sickness that it is and will be repulsed, revolted and want to do something about it. Instead of banning a film, why don't we think of what we should do to make sure that women feel safer, that they feel more secure,
to defame India.
Instead of asking for all manner of...
I'm saying Venkaiah Naidu says it's a conspiracy to defame
India. This is again one of those bogeys that we pull out from time to time. What are we worried about? The whole world knows what's going on in India. The whole world refers to Delhi as the rape capital of the international rape capital. So what are we trying to hide and push under the carpet? Why don't we have the guts to say, yes, hold up a mirror to society, say this has happened, this is going to continue to happen, men like him exist, there are many more like him out there, and we must do something about that at a very fundamental level, whether it's through stricter punishment, legislation, awareness, making schools, colleges more sensitized to gender issues. It cannot be through banning this. It can never stay banned. There'll be people who will want to watch it and who will be able to watch it.
Okay.
So this ban is drawing the wrong kind of attention, and this whole business of Rajnath Singh being furious because of the embarrassment that is going to cause is misplaced fury.
Okay, let me take that too.
What is going on in the country?
Okay,
Why aren't you furious that we aren't able to do something, prevent rapes?
Is this, Dr. Sunita Krishnan, is this misplaced fury?
That is what we should be furious about.
What do you think that people are angry about? Because there seem to be, to me at least, very different reasons that people are giving about why they're angered by this. There are some like Mr. Dave who feel that it's a decency, morality issue. It's a question of, whether it should have been done at all. A certain line he believes has been crossed. There are others who feel genuinely that it is embarrassing for us, be told by an outsider or a British filmmaker that this is what is wrong with your system. We heard MPs say that in Parliament today. What is it, Sunita Krishnan, you think that has really got people irked about it? And my point is, even if you disagree with it, why can't in this country we have a debate about these things without banning them? Most people haven't even seen the documentary.
Yeah. Nidhi, I would like to make 4 points. I think the larger outrage and anger is because of the fear of an ugly reflection of your own self. We talk about the sick mindset of the rapist who's speaking in the documentary. Just take a little flashback. Mulayam Singh Yadav in his political election campaign says, "Ladke to ladke hain." Botsa Satyanarayana says, just because you got freedom at midnight doesn't mean you can walk midnight. A former DGP in Andhra Pradesh says, it is the clothes that makes vulnerable to think. Don't you see the same sick mindsets out here too? And I think when it's reflected right on your face, that is scary. And the whole thing, and I really don't see the kind of outrage which is pouring out today in the parliament and everywhere else in the social media and all the television channels, when all these wonderful gentlemen holding very powerful positions in our country made those sickening statements reflecting those sick mindsets. To me also, the video is not just about the rapist, what he thinks. It's about how rape is defended and justified by many people. What his wife speaks, what his lawyers speak, what many other convicts speaks. Now just imagine like the Nithari Kand, Surendra Kohli his capital punishment was commuted because for 3 years his capital punishment was not executed. Just imagine this gentleman, this rapist whom we are talking about, is given a life imprisonment and he actually gets released from the jail. What is a kind of mindset he'll come out with? Today, for me, this video is not just a reflection of our ugly and sickening mindsets that we need to start acknowledging. Just knowing is not enough. We need to start acting and changing that mindset.
So you think people need to see it? You think people need to see it to be shocked?
Absolutely. Absolutely, every human being should see it, not only in this country but entire world, because this is not just about sexual crimes in India. Now, I sometimes don't understand this outrage. Mr. Rajnath Singh says he's, personally hurt. 10 days back, 20 days back, when I started the Shame the Rapist campaign, where rapists with impunity were showing their videos of rape, where was this personal outrage for these people? Why did they feel outraged at the time that, people are, with such impunity flaunting their rape videos? You don't feel outraged about all that. But you feel outraged when your reflection is shown on a mirror before you.
Okay,
and when it comes to banning this video, for one moment, please. I want to just make this point too. Banning this video, I think you have to take accountability to those officers who authorized the video. Why should you penalize the filmmaker after she has done so much of work making the video? Let the accountability start there. Who authorized this video? Rather than now when the video, we are looking like, jokers in the international domain. One government gives permissions and things like that.
Yeah,
The
and suddenly you have an
documentary is
about turn
made.
by the same
And now you
authorities
say
that gave
no?
that permission actually. Mr. Neeraj Kumar, you know, you were the
Absolutely.
police commissioner of Delhi when this entire story blew up. So when you look at how this is now played out in the last 48 hours, do you believe, even if you do disagree with whether this should have been done or not, do you believe that not showing the film is the answer, sir?
No, I don't think so. However, most film journalists who come from abroad, their aim is to focus on our weak spots. And this is one such example. The same filmmaker would not go and show the good part of India. They will go and pick up one such issue and show it to the whole world. But that aside, I agree with all the panelists that this permission should not have been given. It should not have been given because the jail authorities are custodians of this convict on behalf of the court. It is the court which should have given the permission, if at all, and following which the Ministry of Home Affairs or the Delhi jail authorities could have taken a call. But giving this permission to a foreign journalist to interview a convict is quite appalling, and it cannot be justified.
But Mr. Kumar, why are we so touchy about a foreign journalist doing a film like this and interview and focusing on the Nirbhaya rape case? I mean, is that really what should be bothering us? Shouldn't we be bothered by the fact that, you know, firstly that rape and that brutal crime happened despite the protests and everything else that happened after that? It is not something that has stopped in this country. I don't expect it to stop overnight. But, you know, are we better off as a society? Are women safer today when they walk out onto the streets? I mean, didn't this film or what this filmmaker is trying to do actually reflect our reality? Are we being too touchy because it's a foreigner who's done it? Is that the real issue?
Not really. My point is that can you imagine an Indian filmmaker go into a London jail and speak to a convict? It's quite out of the question. He cannot come anywhere close to a jail. I'm aware of that. There is kind of restrictions. No. Many have tried. Many have tried, and here in the name of I don't know, transparency and free access and so on and so forth, all this is being allowed. It is truly appalling. But now that it has happened, to kind of brush it under the carpet, I don't know how much purpose that would serve.
Okay, Shaina NC, what does the BJP and the government mean that, you know, this is a conspiracy to defame India? You know, like I said, I understand everybody may have a different point of view on this film. Please do, and please do have that. But, you know, a conspiracy to defame India sounds like something out of the 70s, you know.
Nidhi, if you just give me 30 seconds, I just want to read out 3 lines. Singh says you can't clap with one hand, it takes 2 hands. A decent girl won't roam around 9 o'clock at night. A girl is far more responsible for rape than a boy. Then he goes on to say the most ridiculous, that when being raped, she shouldn't fight back. She should just be silent and allow the rape. And that after doing her, they didn't hit her, they only hit the boy. Now, isn't this a sign of arrogance of a perpetrator of a crime who is absolutely sick in his mindset? He has not a sign of remorse after committing the biggest atrocity against a 23-year-old for no fault of hers, and then to attribute it to the fact that she was dressed this way or she shouldn't have been out or this is his birthright. Now, I feel that if the previous government had given this permission purely based on research and to find out the mindset of a man, that's one prerogative of that previous government. But the irony of the story is that Sushil Kumar Shinde gave permissions for an interview with a rapist who has no remorse, who is a pervert, who has committed a crime, and the whole country is outraged. I'm not just talking about defaming India, but why give him this status? And if we want to investigate and find out as to why this mindset 1 second. I have seen the transcripts, Nidhi, and it's sufficient to say that there is Nirbhaya's family as well, which needs to be regarded. Their entire sentiment, along with the sentiment of this nation, which is
Yeah,
that
but
treat
Nirbhaya's
him
family
as
is not
a
there
criminal.
supporting the documentary.
And if he
China, they
is
are
not-
supporting the
No, but
documentary. They were
point
on our
is,
channel last night saying that they don't want it to be
I read that on your
censored.
channel. I saw that on your channel.
Yeah.
I saw that on your channel. But her point was, raise your voice on this case, not to glorify a rapist.